This court's going to call cause number 63853. This is in the 88th District Court of Hardin County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Ava Kotlars. Miss Tammy Cunningham, would you raise your right hand and tell me that your hand is in the air?
It's in the air.
Tammy Cunningham, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Callie Kotlars, would you raise your right hand and tell me that your hand is in the air?
It's in the air.
Ms. Kotlars, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, you put your hand down. Miss Brown-Zito, does the state have any other witnesses besides the grandmother and the mother?
No, Your Honor.
All right. This appears to be an original petition that you filed in regards to the child Ava back in January.
That's correct.
All right, your case has been called. Miss Brown-Zito, you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I would call Ms. Cunningham. Will you please state your name for the court?
Tammy Ann Cunningham.
And we are here today to talk about your granddaughter, Ava Kotlars. Is that correct?
Correct.
And who is her mother?
Callie Nicole Kotlars.
And are you related to Callie?
She is my daughter.
Okay. And how long does Ava live with you?
Currently, she's been with me for a year.
Okay. And who is Ava's father?
Jason Allen Kotlars.
And was Mr. Kotlars and your daughter married at the time Ava was born?
Yes.
And is Mr. Kotlars still living?
He's deceased.
And he passed away sometime in 2021. Does that sound correct?
No, 2020 in June 30th.
$2020. Yes. Yes, ma'am. How is Ava covered for health insurance?
She has Medicaid.
Now, are you requesting back child support or just to start from here forward?
I guess forward.
Okay. Does your daughter visit with your granddaughter?
Yes.
Does she go with her for weekends on weekend visitation?
No.
What kind of visitation has she had?
So far, she's just been doing supervisory.
Okay. Is that for a reason?
Well, for the past year, Callie's had some problems with an alcohol addiction and been in rehab, and there's some, I guess that's the main reason, but she's just now getting back on her feet within the last 3 months.
Okay. Now, did someone else tell you to do supervised visitation, or was this just something y'all have worked out between y'all?
This was through CPS.
Okay. And CPS is not involved at this time. Is that correct?
Correct. They know that she's been with me.
Okay. And has the visitation been going well?
Yes. Since November.
Okay, since November. And y'all have been able to work it out between y'all since that time period?
Yes, we've had no problem.
Your Honor, I would pass this witness.
Call your next witness.
I would call Ms. Kotlars. Did I say that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Kotlars.
Okay. Now, could you please state your name for the judge?
Callie Nicole Kotlars.
And you are Ava's mother, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And at the time when Ava was born, were you and Mr. Kotlars married?
Yes, ma'am.
And he passed away in 2020, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you working at this time?
I just started.
Okay. Do you get paid by the hour?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you how much do you make an hour?
10.
And are you working 40 hours a week?
No, it's just a few days a week.
How many hours a week do you think you're working right now?
Probably about 16.
16? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And does that have the ability to turn into a 40-hour a week job?
Not at the moment.
Okay. And you do not have insurance available through your work?
No, ma'am.
And has the visitation that you've been doing that's been going all right?
Yes, ma'am.
You and your mom can work through these things at this time period. You're able to do that?
Yes.
Do you have any other minor children?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, I would pass this witness.
Call you next witness.
I have no further witnesses, Your Honor. We would rest.
Ms. Pranzito, what are you asking for in regards to child support?
Uh, if she's making $10 an hour at 16 hours, I would ask it to be based on what she testified that she's making right now.
Ms. Cunningham, the only real concern, I mean, all of the issues have concerns for me, but the one I'm really concerned about right now is visitation, okay?
Okay.
And so right now, Callie's been doing supervised visitation with you, she said since November.
No, she's actually been doing supervisory since probably the last year.
Okay. And how much
That's
longer
when
do you think that Callie's ready for unsupervised visits?
Yes, probably so. Yes.
Okay. So, do you think she's ready for overnight visits?
I can't answer that. Yes.
Okay.
No.
And that's fine. Go ahead, Ms. Cunningham.
Callie was currently, when she got out of the hospital in November, was staying with her grandma,
Mhm.
and she's currently trying to get a place. But I mean, we're at that process right now of the unknown. We don't know.
So, if she had her own place, Ms. Cunningham, do you feel like she'd be ready for overnight visits with Ava?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. See, those are the things that I need to know before I make a good decision for Ava, all right? How long do you think I should have to wait before I give Callie overnight visits with Ava?
She's very angry with me right now.
I can imagine. That's kind of one of the drawbacks of having y'all both on the same phone at the same time.
Right. The only reason is because she's with the person that we don't agree with, that was the problem before she started all this and got into rehab.
Okay.
Not the reason for me and my addiction.
Miss
She's not the reason for her
Miss
addiction,
Kotlar.
no.
Miss Kotlars, can you hear me?
Sure.
When I ask you a question, Miss Kotlars, I'll address you directly, okay? Thank you, ma'am. You don't have to defend yourself. There's no reason to at this point in time till I ask you a question. Miss Cunningham, at some point in time, I have to give Miss Kotlars unfettered access to Ava for weekend visitation. You understand? That has to happen sometime in the future.
Okay, I agree.
All right. And it can't just be, and don't be offended, Miss Cunningham, it can't just be when Tammy Cunningham decides to give it to her. I have to
That's
make
correct.
it today.
It's just my feelings of what happened in the past.
I understand, and I do understand your concerns. I do, but I got to set out a time certain that Miss Kotlars is going to have to be able to work her way into having overnight and weekend visits with Ava again. Okay.
That is correct. It's just been so soon since she's had her from being in ICU for a week, and it's just been it's still kind of new to me, and it's just, I mean, I know she needs to have Ava. I do know that. And Ava does need her mother, and she does see her. I don't keep her away from her. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm just,
Oh,
I'm just trying to think of it all in my head.
Okay.
To try to make a good ruling for Ava, okay?
Okay.
All right. Ms. Kotlars, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Kotlars, I want you to understand that I do want you to work toward having full-blown weekends with Ava again by yourself on your own. You understand?
Yes, it's what I'm working towards.
Okay. There is a history there, and it's one that I have to take into consideration when I make this ruling, okay?
Okay.
All right. I agree with Ms. Cunningham. I do not believe that you need to be supervised anymore. So I'm not going to order any more supervised visitation in this case. But I'm just not going to graduate you straight, Ms. Kotlars, to full-blown weekend visits with Ava yet, okay?
Okay.
All right. Ms. Kotlars, is there anything else that you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling? Ms. Cunningham, is there anything else you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
No, sir.
Court's going to find the court has jurisdiction. The court's going to find, based on the testimony of the parties, it's certainly in Ava's best interest to name the parties as joint managed conservators. Ms. Cunningham will be the primary custodian at this time. I'm going to order Ms. Cunningham to maintain the correct health insurance that she has on the child. And based on the testimony of Ms. Kotlars, I'm going to set child support in this case at $100 a month. Medical support will be $25 a month. Those payments beginning March 1st of 2023. There'll be no retroactive child support in this case. And Ms. Kotlars will be responsible for court costs, but I'll give her until August the 30th of 2023 to pay my court cost. In regards to the visitation, I'm going to order phased-in visit. There'll be 0 supervised visits, followed by 10 half-day visits, followed by 10 full-day visits, followed by 10 one-night overnight visits. All of those visits will begin on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturday of each month. The half-day visits will start at 1 and end at 5 p.m. The full-day visits will start at, it's either 8 or 9 and end at 5 or 6 p.m. The full day, the first overnight on that first Saturday will be from 6 p.m. on Saturday to 6 p.m. on Sunday. So there'll be 10 visits at each phase. Once that last phase is completed, then Ms. Kotlars can have standard possession. Now, Ms. Brown-Zito, did the state of Texas hear all the terms and conditions of my court order?
$100 child support beginning March 1st, $25 medical support beginning March 1st, joint managing conservators with Ms. Cunningham being the primary, and zero supervised visitations, 10, 10, and 10 for the other 3, and court costs by August 31st, 2023.
Got it. Ms. Cunningham, Ms. Kotlars, what's going to happen now is Ms. Brown-Zito's office is going to send me a proposed court order. If it matches what I said here today, I'm going to sign it and get it back to them. And they're going to make a copy of it and send it to each of you. Now, you don't have to be satisfied with my ruling today. If either party is dissatisfied with the ruling, you have 3 business days with which to file written notice of appeal with the Hardin County District Clerk's Office. You got to put your appeal in writing. It's got to be specific. You got to tell the referring court in your appeal what part of my ruling you disagree with, and you're responsible for sending a copy of that written appeal to all the other non-appealing parties. Now, look, y'all, I've given you a visitation schedule. That's a hard schedule, but it's also, Ms. Cunningham, Ms. Kotlars, if between the 2 of y'all, you decide to do something different, you can, as long as you agree. So if Ms. Cunningham, if Ms. Kotlars gets through the first half-day visits without any real problem, she gets through 5 or 6 of them, and you decide she's ready to graduate to the next full day, then do it. Ms. Cotlars, if you don't think Ava's ready at the end of a phase and you think you need to do some more of those phases before you do, then do that. If there's not a place, Ms. Cotlars, for you and Ava to be able to stay overnight, then obviously you're not going to be able to exercise those yet. I mean, there's a lot of variables that go into what you guys may or may not be able to agree to. But if you can't make an agreement, then you'll have to abide by the order that I've given you today. Ms. Cunningham, do you have any questions about my ruling?
No, sir, I don't.
Ms. Cotlars, do you have any questions about my ruling?
No, sir.
I wish you both the best of luck. You're both free to go.